Last night in front of a lively crowd, the youth movement of the A's put on quite a show. The Athletics built an early lead, but the Yankees superstar in the making, Aaron Judge, took matters into his own hands as he helped erase the A's lead, and the Pinstripes went ahead in the later innings. But in only his second game, Matt Chapman got his first big league hit with the bases loaded, and the A's took Game 2 in dramatic fashion. Today, the green and gold look for 3 in a row versus the first place Yankees, and it starts right now. Beautiful day at the ballpark, and the A's have started this homestand out well. They have won the first 2 games of this series, and today it's Game 3. The Oakland A's and the New York Yankees coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Mark Mulder, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, we've been hearing a lot, and we've been waiting for Matt Chapman. He is finally here, and Mark, what a night last night for the youngster. He kind of showed us all the tools that he has.
He really did. He showed us a little bit of everything, and there's a reason A's fans should be excited about this young man. He thought he got his first big league hit. It got reversed, but he showed off the speed and the hustle down the first base line. Then the defensive play. We've heard a lot about his defense. A diving play down the line, a good strong throw. Defense never sleeps or never goes into a slump, and that's the biggest thing. Then in the 8th inning, big base hit, drive in the 2 runs, give the A's the lead. And listen, you only get your first hit one time, and what a good one to get last night.
Yeah, it came on an 0-2 pitch, so that was a lot of fun last night. Today, the Yankees will send Masahiro Tanaka to the mound, and Mark, he pitched against the A's in New York, and he was great. He struck out 13, but the A's still got the win.
They did. He's got incredible stuff. He pitches backwards. He goes a lot with off speed the majority of the time. A's hitters need to jump on those pitches. They need to get the ball up, look for something. Lay off the ones down in the zone. You cannot be successful against him down there. He's struggled the majority of this season, and the A's need to get him today.
All right, so Tanaka will pitch for the Yankees, and for the Athletics, they'll send the young right-hander Jesse Hahn to the mound. He will be looking for his 3rd win of the year. Also earlier today, the Catfish Hunter Gate was dedicated, and many of his former teammates are on hand. We're going to talk to a couple of them during the game.
on NBC Sports California is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Gorgeous day for baseball. The A's looking for their third consecutive win over a very good New York Yankees team. See if they can do it today under lots of sunshine. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 79 degrees, just a nice slight breeze. And we are set for what we hope is a good day of baseball. Those gentlemen are having a good day no matter what the outcome. So the Yankees in town. The familiar gray road uniforms of the Yankees. Let's check out their starting lineup for today. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Brett Gardner's back in the lineup. He'll be in left field. Chase Headley hits second. Aaron Judge third. Starlin Castro is going to be the DH today. Gregorius is the shortstop. Then it's Carter, Torreyes, Williams, and Romine. That's your Yankee starting lineup.
And Jesse Hahn on the mound today, making his 11th start. Much better in his 2 starts since coming off the DL with right tricep soreness. And looking to deal with this tough Yankees lineup today.
And behind Jesse Hahn, this is what the A's defense looks like. Davis is in left, Brugman's in center, Joyce is in right. Chapman, Rosales, Lowry, and Alonso on the infield with Josh Vegley doing the catching. So Matt Chapman, a night to remember last night for the rookie, and he's right back at it and back to work today. As Brett Gardner steps in, so we're set for baseball. The A's and the Yankees. Very warm day here at the ballpark. So Gardner is now in the box, ready to hit. And Jesse Hahn kicks and fires the first pitch of the game, is just a bit high. So a couple of one-run games and a couple of one-run victories for the A's in the first 2 games of this series. Lots of excitement in both games. A's won 8-7 in 10 innings on Thursday night, and last night 7-6. So try to make it 3 in a row. Yankees with a 38-27 record. They are hanging on to first place in the East, but they have lost 4 in a row. Foul straight back. So now the count 2-1. Umpires today, that's Lance Barksdale calling balls and strikes with the crew chief Ted Barrett at first. John Tumpane is at second. Chad Whitson is at third. Very straightaway defense for Gardner. Big curve over the top. 3-1. So Mark, open of our show, actually the pregame show, we talked about the Yankees lineup. Lots of power, lots of home runs, but they also aren't afraid to hit deep in the count, and that can make it difficult on a pitcher. And you said, hey, if that's the way a lineup is, you got to make quality pitches early in the count and try to get ahead. So that's something to watch for today.
Well, and when I say that, when you have a team that's very patient from 1 through 9, to go after them is kind of, it's a way to counteract their patience. You know, they don't want to be 0-1, 0-2, but if you establish the fact that you're going right after them, that kind of puts them into a swing mode. But when that happens, with the power they have, and obviously they're leading baseball in many offensive categories, you got to be ready to make good pitches. There is no such thing as let's just throw a get me over first pitch strike.
So they're not going to sit there all day and let themselves get behind in the count.
No.
At some point, they're going to start swinging if you're throwing strikes.
Yep, and here's a good example. Fastball down the fastball for strike 1, curveball for strike 2. And you get ahead like that, and you're going to, don't think the other guys in the lineup don't notice that.
0-2 pitch to Chase Headley is in the dirt. So Headley hitting in the 2 spot in this game. Well, today any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. 1-2 pitch. There's that big overhand curve from Hahn. It drops low. So the Yankees offense is a good one. This is America. This is all of baseball ranking. They got the best batting average, most runs per game, the most home runs, best OPS. So it's a very good lineup. And they lead the American League in slugging and on base percentage. So that tells you a lot right there. A lot of it has to do with that young man, Aaron Judge. 2-2 pitch. Curve is outside.
Well, here's an example of the patience. Hahn gets 0-2. 2 breaking balls down for balls. Now another one off the plate, following up the foul ball.
Fouled straight back. So 3-2 to Headley. And it's a bit high, so a 1-out walk to Chase Headley, and here comes Aaron Judge. A nice ovation for Aaron Judge. Lots of Yankee fans in the house, and for Judge, of course, lots of friends and family. The Linden Athletic Boosters Club is in the house. They are representing Linden, California. That's where Judge is from, just east of Stockton, so not very far from here. And Judge last night hit a home run that was basically down the right field line, and it was a no-doubter. He hit it like a left-handed pull hitter.
It's amazing. Some guys, the power that they have, in the way they can drive the ball the other way. That triple he hit off the center field wall just to the right of center field. It almost looked like it got in on his hands.
I don't think he hit it well.
No.
And a quick 0-2 from Jesse Hahn.
Well, and here is that home run. It's just how deep he lets that ball get. That's what's impressive. That was a changeup, I believe. He able to wait on it and still have the power to drive it the other way.
So that's a good pitch by Hahn, just a bit off the plate. Here's the triple we're talking about.
Well, it's a mislocation, and it's middle in, and he pulls his hands in nicely, still gets the barrel to it, obviously, but he's just so strong. With any elevation, that thing's off the center field backdrop, but
close pitch. 2-2 the count.
Good pitch from Hahn here, going fastball away, looking to bring it back, and could have gone either way.
Pitchcast is brought to you by Penn Fed Credit Union. Big swing and a fastball that was up just a little bit. So 2-2 the count. Judge with 23 home runs, 52 RBIs. Starlin Castro, who's DHing today, is in the on-deck circle. And that one is well off the plate, 3-2. So here's your patience mark.
Yeah.
0-2 to 3-2, and you'll see that a lot today with the Yankees.
So I mean, guys, just they foul off pitches. They take the close ones.
Seems like that's a trait of teams that score a lot of runs. Just kind of goes hand in hand. Wear down starting pitchers. Headley was going, and he's safe. So Hahn picked a good time to throw over, and they almost got him.
Well, you can see if that throw is anywhere near the side of the runner, instead it was to the glove side of Alonso, so he had to make the catch and then come back to try to make that tag.
Runner goes, and the pitch is low. He walked him. So back-to-back walks by Jesse Hahn. And now you face the cleanup hitter Starlin Castro.
Batting in fourth position.
Our Expo today is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So here's Castro. Castro was not in the original lineup. He was going to get the day off. But Matt Holliday, who was the original designated hitter, said Holliday not feeling well, and Castro was inserted as the designated hitter, so he's not playing second base today. First pitch to Castro is a strike in the outside corner. Castro was 3 for 5 on Thursday night, drove in a run and scored 3 runs. He was 2 for 5 with an RBI last night, so he's had a very good series. Whatever Castro does in this series, he'll be disappointed that he did not catch the ball on Thursday night. That would have been the final out of the game, and it would have been a Yankees win. Instead, it fell, and it turned out to be an A's win. Missed outside, so at the count 2-1. Didi Gregorius, a left-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle. Aaron Judge. Gary Sanchez is out of the lineup again today. He's a bit banged up after Thursday. Good pitch, 2-2.
A good fastball in from Hahn right here. Castro looking for something out over the plate. And this is where Hahn, he's got to stay in attack mode here. He's got to go after him. He's been picking a little bit, especially with that breaking ball, causing for deep counts. I'd like to see another fastball inside here.
And that one's on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. Castro may have been looking somewhere else, and that one caught the outside corner.
Well, a good sinker down. This one, you know, there were two to Judge that he took for balls that were borderline on the strike zone, and maybe this time Lance Barksdale was like, all right, I might have missed one of those first 2. You're going to get this one. But like I said, you go back to that heater. There's a reason Jesse's fastball is so good. 95 miles an hour with sink.
So here's Didi Gregorius. Gregorius had .333 with 6 home runs, 25 RBIs. He had the night off last night, did not get in the game at all. So 1-0 the count. 26 pitches for Hahn here in the first inning. So he's had a busy first inning. This one's popped up. Chapman's going to hustle over, but it's going to drop into the seats just past the A's dugout. And Matt Chapman learning all about the foul territory here at the Coliseum.
It'll be interesting to see how he adapts to that. The catches that we've seen past third basemen make, as good as he is defensively, it's a little uncomfortable running that far.
Well, it's like no other ballpark, yeah. That's for sure. Swing and a miss. 1-2. No, there's no other park that comes close to the amount of foul territory, and quite frankly, how the foul territory is set up, where dugout all the way down, there's just a huge amount. A lot of room to run around in foul territory. That's low, 2-2. Another deep count. Pitch, here it is, and it's looped foul again down the left side. So 30 pitches now, 15 balls, 15 strikes, but they're doing what we talked about.
Well, Jesse hasn't been able to locate his curveball yet. He's thrown a couple for strikes, but most of them, you know, like I said, he had the 2-0-2 counts that ended up 3-2. Like to see just more fastballs, get some ground balls, keep that ball on the ground. You got such a good sinking fastball, you got to use it.
Tapped out in front. Hahn, bare hands, throw to first, and they just got Gregorius. Side retired. So a lot of pitches, but no runs for the Yankees as the A's come to bat when we come back. Athletics lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Matt Joyce will lead off, then Rosales, Lowry, Davis, Alonso, Healy, Chapman, Brugman, and Fegley. That's your A's lineup.
And Masahiro Tanaka making his 14th start of the season, the 6.07 ERA. He is the Yankees ace, and he's had a few decent starts this year, but a lot of struggles. And the Yankees, as well as they've done it all offensively, because he has struggled quite a bit.
Defensively, the Yankees will have Gardner, Williams, and Judge in the outfield. Headley, Gregorius, Torreyes, Carter on the infield, with Romine doing the catching. So Masahiro Tanaka has just been kind of a coin flip for the Yankees. They're just not sure what they're going to get from him. A's saw enough of him back on the 26th of May to be impressed when he struck out 13. The A's won that game 4-1. This one is hit in the air, and it's hit well to right field. And that baby's gone. A's lead 1-0. So the first pitch Tanaka throws in this game is hit out of the ballpark.
Number 16, Adam.
Probably a little jarring. So here's Rosales. Rosales goes after the first pitch.
Well, and we talked about the Yankees being so patient, and we talk about trying to get the fastball, look for something up from Tanaka because of how many splits and sliders he throws. And Matt Joyce figuring, hey, first pitch of the game, let me jump on that fastball.
So 5th career leadoff home run for Matt Joyce. So 0-2 the count to Adam Rosales.
I never really understood why more leadoff hitters don't go out and do that. As a pitcher, your mindset is you're throwing a fastball and you're going to throw it right down the middle for strike one. Your focus sometimes isn't there other than to just throw a strike.
There's that splitter, and Rosales swings and misses. So that's out number 1.
And this is the split finger fastball. You see it start on the same plane as that fastball. It's about 5-6 miles an hour slower, and it just kind of tumbles out of the strike zone. The toughest thing for the hitter is there's a reason it's a split finger fastball. You see fastball out of the hand, and it's so hard to stay back on that pitch, much less when it's down in the zone.
First pitch to Lowry is outside, 1-0. So is it possible, Mark, that the last time the A's faced Tanaka, he strikes out 13, and most of the strikeouts were swinging?
Yeah.
They just kept. So you get to 2 strikes, and they had no success. Could it be that then you go into this start against him and say, you know what, let's go after him earlier in the count?
Yeah, absolutely. But the only thing is he's also that guy who will now go 0-0 split. And you just saw with Lowry, first ball, breaking ball, strike 1 or ball 1. Then he goes to the split on pitch 2. You have to see it up. He very seldom ever throws it up. That's what makes it so difficult to lay off of.
Because Joyce swung at the first pitch, Rosales swung at the first pitch, and again, that's only 2 guys.
Yep.
But they certainly have something to look back on earlier this year when he was very tough on him.
Lots of pitchers come out and they want to establish their fastball in the first couple innings. They want to throw a lot of fastballs.
And there's the splitter again, and Lowry strikes out. So the A's made a couple transactions today. They traded Trevor Plouffe to the Rays for a player to be named later, or cash. They called up Michael Brady. There's Michael Brady right there, and they sent Zach Neal back to AAA. So a fresh arm in the bullpen. His name is Michael Brady. And Michael Brady, when he gets in the game, will be making his major league debut. So Trevor Plouffe, who was designated for assignment, and when that happens, the team that DFAs him has a certain amount of time to make a trade. That's Michael Brady. He knows about the Bay Area. He went to the University of California. He's explaining his curriculum right now. So 0-2 to Chris Davis. So you DFA a guy, then you try to trade him. Take, I think, 10 days to try to trade him, and the A's found a taker in the Rays, looking for a right-handed bat. So we wish Trevor Plouffe luck down in Florida. Chris Davis swings and misses. So how about that? A home run and then 3 straight strikeouts, but the A's will take it. They're on the board. They lead 1-0 after an inning here at the Coliseum. Gives the A's an early 1-0 lead. Look at the A's band. They were playing outside. Now they come inside. Get a little entertainment for the fans. 31 pitches for Jesse Hahn in that first inning. The Yankees stranded a pair. They face Carter, Torres, and Williams. So quickly 0-2 to Chris Carter. Carter at .215 with 8 home runs, 23 RBIs. Carter was 2 for 5. Hit a home run on Thursday night. Last night 1 for 4. Hit another home run. He will hit him in bunches. Not that time though, as Hahn paints the outside corner. And that's out number 1. And for the first time, let's check in with Angela.
Guys, I had a chance to check in with Matt Chapman on the field earlier, and Matt told me about his big night, and I asked about the Gatorade shower, and he was saying that, you know, he really didn't expect it, but it was a pretty cool feeling, literally really cold. He also said it was good to see familiar faces in the clubhouse, and Chad Pinder and Ryan Healy and a lot of guys that he's played with in Nashville before. So when he has a question, it's helped with his transition. Had a lot of friends and family out, 23 of them to be exact, on Thursday night, and I think his dad was pretty proud of him. Guys, back up to you.
Well, I know his dad and mom are proud of him. It was great, Mark, as I was walking out, heading out to my car. Matt Chapman was standing in the area kind of where the wives stand and the families wait. And he was standing there. He was by himself, and he was waiting for his parents. But as I got there, his mom and dad just came at the same time. And they had not seen him until after the game. That was the first time they had seen him from him getting his first major league hit, and it was great. I mean, he gave his mom and dad both a big hug, and you could tell, like, it was emotional for all of them. But it was really cool to see, because you could tell it meant a lot to the whole family.
Absolutely.
He's a very nice young man. Torres rips one toward right field. He's got a base hit, and it's juggled. But Matt Chapman was the hero last night. A's trailing in the bottom of the 8th inning, and an 0-2 pitch with the bases loaded. He did that.
Well, and to hear you tell that story, it's cool, because what a lot of people don't realize is what the families go through.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, and the family, how much they've helped him get here, and to share that all together is just so special, and to be able to be a part of all that. Think of all the times his parents sat at games and drove. I know the places my parents drove.
Yep. That one's bounced into right field, the base hit. Correa stops. Now he's going to go. The throw goes through to third, and it's not in time. Torres hesitated a little bit going around second, and then he took off for third, and he made it.
Well, Torres, he was able to turn on the Jets coming around second. You can see he kind of makes sure the ball doesn't hit him. He slowed a little bit around second, but Joyce comes up throwing, and about 2/3 of the way, or about 1/3 of the way around the bag. You can see he doesn't pick up his third base coach at all. He's just watching on his own, and once he decides to go, he goes around the bag and slides in safely to third.
So here's Austin Romine. And here is Austin Romine. The first pitch is outside. But finishing up on that Matt Chapman thought. And I thought the same thing when I saw the parents come around the corner. And they saw him standing there, and you could just tell they were like, just like a dream come true for not just Chapman, but for the whole family.
Yeah.
Close pitch, 2-0. So be careful here. Romine ahead in the count. Lines one foul. Headed down seats down the right field line.
See, to me, that fastball in right there, he didn't even get that in. But since it's 2-0, Romine's looking out over the plate. You could tell by the way he dove at that ball. He's looking to go kind of back the other way, drive it up the middle. And for Jesse, when you throw 94 to 96 with sink the way Jesse Hahn does, Jesse should try to own that inner half. I mean, go in there time after time, and then that opens up the outer half for him to throw that comeback sinker. He's going in again.
Well, there's that phrase about a pitcher and I guess a catcher too, but reading a hitter's swing.
Yeah.
So you see him diving like that a little bit. Work off that.
Yeah, and it's not something every pitcher can really pick up, because you're paying attention to a lot of different things. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. That was a pretty obvious one where that ball that wasn't even in and it still jammed him.
So you got to notice it, and then you got to be able to take advantage of it.
And they did. Like, they tried going back in there. He just yanked it a little bit. Sometimes Jesse's hands get going a little bit too quick. His upper body and his lower body, the timing goes just a little bit where his arm drags, which then causes either that ball to sail up and away to a lefty, or you yank it away to a righty like he did right there.
Torres at third, Williams at first. Lots of speed on the bases for the Yankees. They're trying to tie this game up. Pitch is fouled straight back. So now you get a full count. See if the runner at first, Williams, takes off. Lots of Yankee fans in the crowd again today. Runs, and the ball's lined to center, and that's a base hit. Williams is going to round second. He's going to go to third. Bregman drops the ball out in center field. So Torres comes in to score, and we're tied at 1.
Well, and just like that, this Yankee offense, as quick as they can do damage, this one, Romine able to pull his hands in, drives it back up the middle. And Williams right off the bat, he turned second, went in third. And same situation here for Hahn, back to first and third, and just that one out.
So 3 straight hits after Chris Carter struck out to open up the second inning. And Hahn already at 45 pitches. You said it best. A lot of deep counts.
Deep counts, but the thing is with Jesse Hahn, he hasn't been able to put guys away. I mean, Carter got caught looking for something else, and he took that fastball middle away for that strikeout. But a lot of these 0-2 counts in the first inning that caused all the pitches, just not able to get the outs after you got ahead, or to strike guys out. It's those put away pitches. The curveball's been rolling a little. He's been missing location. When you get ahead 0-2, yes, you want to expand the zone, but you want to find a way to get them out and put them away.
Here's Gardner. First pitch is high. So the Yankees had a couple of base runners in the first. They've had 3 base runners here in the second. Gardner takes, and that's a strike call. Gardner hit a fly ball to right field in the first inning. Gardner was 2 for 6 on Thursday night. Last night he pinch hit and he struck out. So 2 for 7, make it 2 for 8 now in the series. In the air toward left, plenty deep to get Williams home. Williams tags up. Williams comes home, and Gardner has a sacrifice fly to give the Yankees a 2-1 lead. So good at bat for Brett Gardner. So his 31st RBI.
Number 12, Chase Headley.
So that'll bring up Chase Headley. Headley 3 for 8 in the series. He walked in the first inning. Headley had a big 2-run single on Thursday night. Goes after the first pitch and skies it foul. Headley signed that big 4-year contract with the Yankees. This is year 3 of that 4-year deal.
What was that, 2012, I believe, when he, with the Padres?
Yeah, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I think he finished 4th or 5th in MVP voting that year.
Good call. 2012, he hit .286 with 31 home runs, 115 RBIs. And then a couple years later, the Padres traded him to the Yankees. And then at the end of that year that he was traded to them, he became a free agent and he re-signed with the Yankees. He has not come close to duplicating that season he had when he was terrific with the Padres. Last year, 14 homers, 51 RBIs. 2 years ago with the Yankees, 11 homers, 62 RBIs. So okay seasons, but not great.
I always find that odd, especially when you're in such a pitcher's park in San Diego there, and you're able to put up numbers like that.
No. Hits this one hard. The shift was on. Chapman scoops it up. He was playing right at the shortstop spot. Side retired. Couple of runs for the Yankees, and they lead 2-1.
On NBC Sports California is brought to you by Provident Credit Union Super Reward Checking. We pay you.
Beautiful day in the Bay Area. Game 3 of this series. The Yankees leading the A's 2-1, bottom of the second. Yonder Alonso to lead it off, followed by Healy and Chapman against Masahiro Tanaka. Tanaka's first pitch he threw in this game Matt Joyce hit for a home run, and then after that he struck out Rosales, Lowry, and Davis all swinging. A little bit outside, 2-0 to Alonso, hitting .303, 17 home runs, 37 RBIs.
And I could be wrong, but the first pitch of the game was a fastball, and that might have right there been the second fastball he's thrown in this game so far.
I know what you're saying. And now 3-0. See a little bit of everything from Tanaka, but when he needs it, he loves that splitter. Pitch is grounded to the right side, and Yonder Alonso is retired. So a big day here at the Coliseum. Earlier today, the Jim Catfish Hunter gate was dedicated to the late great A's pitcher, the Hall of Famer Jim Catfish Hunter. And many of his former teammates were here. You see Joe Rudy, Vida Blue. That's his wife Helen. And there's the gate, folks. The Jim Catfish Hunter gate. It's the old Gate C here at the Coliseum. So a very, it's a good idea. Well done again by the Athletics to honor one of their all-time greats, Jim Catfish Hunter. Of course, Jim Catfish Hunter started with the A's, then signed the big free agent contract with the Yankees. So he won 3 World Series with the A's and 2 more with the Yankees. Not too shabby. It's pretty good hardware there. A couple of his old teammates will come up and join us. We're going to talk with Gene Tennis, who caught him many times, former catcher. We're going to talk with Darryl Knowles, former A's reliever. So we'll look forward to talking to those 2 gentlemen about the great Jim Catfish Hunter. Those guys from those great A's teams in the 70s, they love to hang out, tell stories.
I love seeing the old clips.
It
was a different game, the way it was played. Yeah. The way I love it.
That one is belted to left center field. Gardner's back, and that baby's gone. Number 16 for Ryan Healy, and we're tied.
Oh, and Healy just goes down and gets the split finger. As many as he's going to throw, as many as you're going to get from Tanaka, at some point you got to start to sit on it. You got to start to look for it. This one up just a little bit, but it's up enough. A good split, you want to be right at the top of the dirt. You want the catcher to either catch it on the dirt or short hop him just a little bit. That's where it's most effective. That one right at the bottom of the strike zone, and Healy was all over it.
And that one is lined by Chapman to left field, and that's going to be off the base of the wall. Gardner gets it in quickly. Chapman into second with a sliding double. The second big league hit for Matt Chapman, and looks like he followed the scouting report and went after an early pitch.
Well, I think against Tanaka, we talked about it, seeing the ball up, getting something up. I didn't see what pitch this was. It might have been a fastball, but there again, it's up in the zone. And Chapman, I almost thought he got this off the end of the bat a little bit, still able to drive it off the left field wall and hustling right out of the box. We talked about the speed and the way that he can run. You can see this. He's thinking 2 at impact, at contact, and he turns around second and a head-first dive into second base.
First double for Chapman, and here's Jacob Brugman. Brugman takes at the knees for a strike. Brugman had 259 with 3 RBIs. He's got 7 hits and 27 at-bats. All 7 hits are singles. the knees for a strike. Just 17 for 28 in shutdown inning opportunities. That's not very good. Just failed right there. Tanaka coming in with an ERA of 6.07. Hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, but I will say this. This is the first time I think I've seen him pitch in a year or so, and there's not a whole lot of differential with his fastball and his split anymore. He used to run it up there 95, 94, 95. Now you're seeing 90, 91 with the fastball, 87, 88 with the split. If it's down, he can still be effective. The A's saw that as we talked about it in late May.
And Brugman swings over top. Yeah, I agree. I always remember him throwing harder.
Well, because he could elevate. He could elevate a fastball and still throw it by you. Now he doesn't seem to have that. In past years, there were talks of his elbow issues, but he always seemed to come back from it. Was it a few years ago? It was he's probably going to need Tommy John. Well, he said no, and he continued to pitch and pitched well. But the stuff just isn't quite the same. And when you start to lose velocity a little, that's when teams can now start to hone in on pitches up in the zone, and they don't have to chase as much.
Well, he's got an interesting contract situation as well. Of course, he signed that 7-year deal with the Yankees, and this is year 4 of that 7-year deal, but he has an opt-out after this year. So he's going to have to decide, can I get a better deal out there than the 3 years left I have on my Yankee deal? He's only 28 years old. Having an ERA of 6 is not great. But nobody's going to feel sorry for him, because if all he's got to do is say, well, I'm not going to opt out, well, then he's got 3 years left at $20 million a year. So he's going to be just fine either way.
Yeah, unless something drastically changes the second half of the season, I don't think you're going to be seeing him opt out.
I wouldn't either, because
you're not going to get that anywhere else.
Yeah, you're going to get a 4-year deal somewhere? Probably not.
And not for that number.
He's really struggled this year. Fegley swung and missed. Ball past the catcher, and everybody's safe. So strikeout, but the A's get a base runner.
Well, Fegley goes after a breaking ball that's down and out of the zone, and you can see Romine not able to get in front of that. He doesn't use his body. He tries to pick it, hits off the heel of his glove, and Fegley able to reach first base safely, and Chapman into third.
So interesting note here on chase percentage for Tanaka and hard hit rate. Well, it's self-explanatory. Look at the hard hit rate, the increase from first 3 years to this year, and the chase rate is down. So it really all kind of works together. So the A's with an opportunity to take the lead. Matt Joyce homered in the first. Brugman at third, Fegley at first. Missed again, 2-0.
This is back leading off the game for Matt Joyce. He goes after a first pitch fastball. As I said, that's only one of a few that Tanaka's thrown so far. And Joyce, being aggressive, jumped all over to give the A's a 1-0 lead after one pitch.
2-0 pitch is a bit outside. Now 3-0. Tanaka he thought maybe that should have been called a strike. Joyce has the green light here, Mark, with Tanaka struggling. But the thing is with Tanaka is he may not throw a fastball on 3-0.
That's exactly right. We saw Alonso swinging 3-0 earlier, hit a weak ground ball to second.
And there is a strike. So 88 miles an hour. Have we seen 90 yet?
We've seen it a couple times. First pitch of the game was 91. That's about it. Like I said, I honestly I don't think that was a fastball. I think that was a split. He was trying to throw for a strike that he just left up in the zone.
One pitch, and it's a ball. Joyce walks, so the bases are loaded. So here's Adam Rosales.
Now batting, shortstop, number 16, Adam Rosales.
Chapman at third, Fegley at second, Joyce at first. Rosales struck out in the first inning. Swings and misses, so he went after the first pitch. He did it in his first at bat. He does it again here in his second at bat. So 34 pitches for Tanaka. So both these starters have worked very hard in the first 2 innings. And now it's 0-2, so Tanaka is able to get ahead.
Tanaka kind of pitches the way it's like he's constantly trying to trick you.
Yep.
You know, there is no challenging you unless he maybe has his best stuff that day. Everything's just trying to run something off the corner, off the bottom of the plate, trying to expand, trying to get you to chase.
Pitch, and he gets Rosales swinging. So the A's get a home run from Healy. They leave the bases loaded, but for Healy, his 16th of the year, so a couple of solo home runs for the A's, and this game is tied at 2. We're going to talk Jim Catfish Hunter with Gene Tennis. Gino coming up next. The Jim Catfish Hunter gate was revealed. We need to talk to some of his teammates, especially a guy who caught him a lot. Gene Tennis joining us. Gino, thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Well, Monty Moore was in our booth last night, and well, everybody you talk to just ask about Jim Catfish Hunter, and the first thing they say is what a wonderful guy he was. Yeah. All these great things he accomplished on the baseball field, but it always goes back to what a great guy he was.
Yeah, he was a tremendous guy off the field as well as he was on the field. But the thing, he had passion for people, you know, that were less fortunate than him. And he would do a lot of things, especially in his hometown down in North Carolina. I can remember when we played here, he would come in early and help the clubhouse kids here, hang up uniforms and whatever, and then help them clean the spikes.
Wow.
Because he just loved helping other people out.
So certainly a well-deserved honor, and he's had a lot of them, but it's nice to see. I think the A's are making a real conscious effort to really celebrate the past, and you guys are such a big part of that. So I think this was great, and I think there'll be more of it as time goes on.
Yeah, we hope so. But I guess the principal owner, he brought that up today, that they were going to try to make it do a lot of things, you know, and get a lot of us guys involved, in, you know, in the past. And hopefully it'll work out that way.
What was it that made what was it that made Catfish so good on the mound?
Control. You know, he wasn't a power pitcher. He kept batters off balance. I mean, he had 3 pitches, and he could paint them anywhere. You could throw them anytime he wanted. The thing about Cat is I caught him probably 7.5 years, and he never shook a catcher off.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen to me in the rest of my life. I mean, but he never shook any catcher. He didn't care who was catching.
Aaron Judge strikes out, and that's the first out here in the 3rd inning. I asked Ray last night, who caught him a lot as well. And, you know, nowadays there's radar guns in the stadium, right? You know at every pitch the miles per. And I was curious, like, I mean, how hard do you think Catfish threw? I know and he said, you know what, I don't know that Catfish threw 90.
I don't think so. I think he probably averaged, on an average, probably 88.
Sure.
And it maybe might get to 90, 91 at times, but that's probably because he overthrew it.
Sure.
But he stayed right around 88. But the thing is, he could hit a gnat in the rear end from 60 feet 6 inches. I mean, this is what he reminded me a lot of the modern day Greg Maddux. You know? I mean, Greg didn't throw hard either, but he could move it, he could fade it, you know, and he could spin it and change speeds, and that's what Cat did. And every now and then he would make a mistake and it would go 400 feet.
Hit towards short. Rosales fires it across. So 2 away here in the 3rd.
That's what I always find so interesting. Today's game, everything is so revolved around velocity.
Yeah.
And yet there's so many guys that I see around baseball, 95 to 100, but they can't seem to get anybody out. And they struggle. They really struggle. Yeah. And you go back and you look at the guys with command and movement, and the game is all about, yes, fastball command, but keeping them off of that, changing speeds and changing location.
That's the way it is. You know, as a great pitcher as you were, I mean, you look at guys. I watch a little baseball. I don't watch it a lot, but I agree with you 100%. As you watch these kids, I mean, they'll throw it 98 to 100, average 95, but you know something, they're just throwers. They're not pitchers. Yeah. And then there's times I watch them, they're afraid to throw the fastball. If I had a fastball 95 to 98, I'm throwing it. I used to tell kids in the minor leagues, you got to develop that fastball first.
Well, how about when you see kids, not necessarily kids, but players in general, working out all winter to see if you can get their velocity up a little bit, and then it doesn't make any difference.
No, to me, your arm is what it is. You know, you're not going to increase the speed on it. The good Lord bless you with a certain amount of arm speed, and that's it.
Yeah, there's
now with proper mechanics, you might be able to increase it a little bit.
Exactly. But if you can't command it, you're not going to get anybody out anyway.
No. And it's all about like Cat and Holtzman and Vida and Blue Moon. These guys were pitchers. We're just standing out there drop and drive and throw at 95. They guys pitched. and they pitched to corners, they pitched to the box, and at times they would have to come and challenge guys, but for the most part these guys could thread that needle, and they mastered 3 pitches. You watch kids now and they got 5, 6 pitches.
Master of none. Lowry charges, and a good inning for Jesse Hahn. We're going to talk about the World Series heroics of Gene Tennis when we come back. Ceremony for the gate, the Jim Catfish Hunter gate, and this was right before the game on the field ceremony. Some of the great teammates of Jim Catfish Hunter. There's our guest, Gene Tennis, the wife of the late great Jim Catfish Hunter.
Great
so
lady.
that's a good-looking group right there, and we're continuing our conversation with the man they call Gino from those great teams. Who? So do you realize that all this World Series, guys do great things in the World Series, but what you did in '72, I mean, Reggie hit 3 home runs in a World Series game for the Yankees, and all that, but your feats in the '72 World Series was as good as anybody. That has to be awesome if you just think about that.
I got hot at the right time.
I know you did, but nobody can take it away from you. But 4 home runs in the '72 World Series. As my,
you know what was great? What was really amazing about what I did there? I grew up 100 miles from there, basically right there in my backyard. And I was a kid, you know, I followed Cincinnati Reds and the Yankees. Those were my 2 teams. But being 100 miles from Cincinnati, I used to go down there in high school and then have clinics and stuff. And Pete Rose would. I was a shortstop then, and Pete Rose and Tommy Helms would put on a clinic to all the infielders in the state of Ohio. And then when I got to the big leagues, I became a catcher, and I told him, I said, back in 1965, I came down to Cincinnati and you were giving an infield clinic.
They remembered you. Pete Rose had to remember you. So Chris Davis did not run at all, and he should have ran because he would have been at least on first base. And he stood in the batter's box. Headley dropped it, picked it up, and threw to first. So that's a mistake by Chris Davis.
Well, we talk about it all the time. You can go in slumps, but hustle doesn't exactly slump, and that's just uncalled for. You can't let that happen. That ball's hit. All you got to do is, I mean, you see something. He could have easily, actually, he could have gotten a double out of that, believe it or not. As high as that was hit, if he's running, and that's got to be embarrassing, to be honest with you. You can't feel good about that.
So, what would Dick Williams have said to Chris Davis?
He would probably be sitting on the bench the rest of the game right now. You know, you don't need any talent to run the first base. You got the worst scenario there. You got to at least get to first.
Yeah. So you went home to Cincinnati and put on a show. That had to be quite a feeling.
Yeah, you know, it was, and I tell people, they ask me about that series a lot, you know, obviously reason, but people don't give our pitching staff enough credit in that series.
Well, the Reds didn't give you much credit going in, right?
No, we were way underdogs.
Either did the Mets or the Dodgers.
No, but our pitching staff, I tell you what, without our pitching staff shutting that offense down Cincinnati had, are you kidding me? To hold those guys down like they did, what I did would have been obsolete. I mean, it would have been, we wouldn't even known about it. We'd probably be sitting here.
So 3-1 to Yonder Alonso. 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Enjoying our conversation with Gene Tennis. So we're going to have Darryl Knowles in the booth in a couple innings. Got any stories about Darryl Knowles?
Yeah.
Except that he
got in 7 games. And the reason why he got in 7 games, the reason why he got in 7 games, I made it air at first base.
All right, good. So we're going to ask you about that. So it only would have been 6 out of 7, right?
Exactly. You're right.
Alonso swings and misses, side retired. So Gino, thanks for stopping by. It's always fun to talk to you, and I know today's a special day for all you guys.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it.
All right, so Gene Tennis has been our guest, and before the game,
Ladies and gentlemen, our time
100 is the wife of the late great Jim Catfish. At 6 p.m. at NBC Sports California as the Quakes host the first place Sporting KC at beautiful Amaya Stadium in San Jose. The home of the authentic Earthquakes fan is NBC Sports California. So that's coming up a little bit later. Right now, good ball game again. 2-2, top of the 4th inning. As Chris Carter leads it off. 3 up, 3 down inning in the 3rd for Jesse Hahn. And the bat goes flying, and it is a fair ball. Right over the head of Matt Chapman. Chad Whitson, the 3rd base umpire, avoids it.
That's some good distance there.
That's good distance.
When it gets to the outfield grass, that's pretty good. What's that? What's the Olympic sport?
The
hammer throw.
Yeah.
Carter might have a future there after baseball, maybe.
We sort of missed that on the Olympics. The hammer throw usually is late at night.
That's not the prime time.
It's not the prime time sport. Nothing against it. So great to talk to Gene Tennis. He's a good guy. One and two to Carter. Those guys had so much success here. They deserve all the attention that they get. Tell you what, you bring up the Reds and the Dodgers, who really did not show a lot of respect to the A's in 72 and 74 World Series. Those guys still get hacked off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. So Carter strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Jesse Hahn.
Well, he got him the first time on the fastball looking, and this one, same thing, 94 miles an hour, right on the black away. You can see the movement coming back, and Carter seemed to have got caught looking for something else again, a little late on that fastball.
Here's Torreyes. Torreyes bounces one in the hole. Rosales has it. His throw is high, and it sails over the head of Alonso and into the seats. So Torreyes is going to be on second base. Torreyes has been a little bit of a thorn in the side of the Athletics.
Well, Rosales, you can see all his weight is on his back foot, not able to step into it because of Torres' speed, or Torreyes' speed. He has to try to get rid of it quickly, and I'm not quite sure he had a very good handle on it. He might have lost a little bit of the grip, which allowed for that ball to sail, but right there, knowing someone's speed and how fast they are, you're not able to step into that throw. You're not going to be able to move your feet, but at least step into it. And he wasn't able to do that because of how quick Torreyes is.
He goes as a single and an E6. Here's Mason Williams. So Torreyes in this series is 4 for 6, and he has scored a couple of runs. Williams was 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored last night. .75 pitches for Jesse Hahn. 31 came in the very first inning. So they have changed now. It was not a single, just an E6. So eliminate the base hit. So first error in the series for the Athletics, and now it's 1 and 2. 64th on the year. He's holding down that most in the majors air total, which they don't really want to do the whole year.
That's not one you want.
No, that is not. One and 2 to Mason Williams. Swung at a pitch that was well off the plate, rolls it foul. Williams singled and scored in the second inning. Rosales trying to hold Torreyes close at second. Torreyes has good speed. And a big curve, and it's a foul ball. Williams keeps chasing that pitch that's down and in.
Well, if you're going to keep chasing it, you got to keep throwing it. It's obviously being left-handed. You talk about lefties liking that ball down and in. You can see him trying to go out there and get that.
Those pitches are way down and in. fastball that just missed. Pretty good pitch by Hahn.
Really good pitch by Hahn. He had him frozen. The pitch just wasn't up quite enough. After those pitches down and in, you can definitely get a left-hander looking right there. 93, just down, but he had him set up. He had him set up for it.
And now it's 3-2. So they've worked it full. Hit towards center. Brugman hustles over there. He's got it. Torres bluffs going to third. Brugman got it in quickly, and that's the second out.
We can see Brugman how he's able to get behind this, and we up here we're watching Torres hustle back to the bag and try to get a good jump. And all you got to do is you watch that outfielder, the guy at second, Torres, he's watching Brugman. He sees him get behind it, and he knows after he sees that, and Brugman with a good arm, he knows he can't make it, and he had to stay at second.
So here's Austin Romine. Torres still at second base. And the curve snaps in there for a strike to Romine. Romine had an RBI single in the second inning. It knocked in the Yankees' first run. 2 runs and 3 hits for each team. Tried the breaking ball again. This time it's well outside. 1-1.
You know, from Hahn today, there's times where he's had really good stuff, and there's times where his pitch is just they're not effective. There's an example right there. If you want to throw that slider, it's got to be just off the corner to try to get him to chase. It starts out of the zone and then breaks further out of the zone, so it doesn't really have an effect on the hitter.
What do they call that? A non-competitive pitch? Does that make sense?
NCP. Non-competitive pitch.
Don't want to have too many of those, I take.
No, you don't. And the problem with those pitches is it makes you predictable, because chances are you're not going to throw that pitch. You're not going to back it up with another one.
And an emergency swing by Romine, and he spoiled a pretty good pitch by Hahn. Here's your emergency swing, folks.
Well, it's kind of that underwater swing. the body goes, the hands go out, just flip the wrist. Let's try to foul it off.
And a big curveball, and he strikes out Austin Romine. So the Yankees strand a runner at second base. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Yankees 2 and the A's 2.
NBC Sports California is brought to you by Airport Home Appliance. It's back. The Airport Home Appliance Warehouse Sale.
So that was last night. That's the swing that got Matt Chapman his first hit. It was also the swing that won the game for the A's. 2-run single. Chapman will hit second in this inning. Healy, Chapman, and Bruckman. Healy homered in the second, his 16th home run of the year. So Alonso was 17, Davis was 17, Healy was 16. That's pretty good middle of the order.
It is. He got off to a little bit of a slow start, but this last month and a half or so, we've seen a much better Ryan Healy.
He gives you a good at-bat just about every time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also, really settling in. Not that you want him to, but he's settling into that DH role a little bit more.
Yeah. But the fact that he has been able to pull it off,
yeah,
doesn't mean that he's going to DH the rest of his career.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shows you that he's able to adapt. Not easy to do. Here's the home run in the second inning.
Well, went after the first pitch. Or that was not the first pitch, but he got a pitch up. The split down or split up in the zone. So many that Tanaka had thrown early in the game were down, that one up, and Healy able to drive it out.
And now the count 2-2 to Healy. 7 home runs in the month of June, and it's only the 17th. We've got some time yet. Rolls that one foul to the far end of the A's dugout. Somehow ends up in the first row right behind the dugout. So 2-2. That's a good take right there. It looked like Healy knew it was coming.
That's what I was just going to say. You could see how quiet he was. His foot got down. There really wasn't any sort of a check swing after it. That's someone who's looking for the ball up, someone who recognizes that pitch.
And he launches this one to left field, and that baby is gone. A's lead 3-2. So a 2-homer game for Ryan Healy. Give him 17 on the year.
Well, the pitch before should tell you everything you need to know. He was looking for something up. This one a slider trying to go down and away. Just kind of the hanger in the middle of the plate. And Healy knew he got it. You can see he just kind of puts his head down and starts his jog early.
So 3 solo home runs for the A's today. And here's Chapman.
And when someone is seeing the ball so well out of someone's hand, that's why he took that pitch before and spit on it the way that he did.
Yeah, I was going to say, you wonder how much the home run was a result of the pitch right before that he just took.
Well, he's waiting on it. You know, Tanaka, the way he pitches, he's trying to get you to chase. And Healy's at bat, you could tell he was waiting for Tanaka to come to him. I'm going to force you to throw me a strike.
Look at this. He has allowed 21 home runs this year, and he's done that in 75 innings. That is not a good ratio.
21 would be good for a season.
For a season.
You're throwing 200 some innings.
one is lined to left center field, and that's a hit. Gardner's over there to cut it off. Chapman is 2 for 2.
Watch how short Chapman is to this ball. It's a pitch down and away, driving it right back up the middle. I know it ends up more in left center, but that was still his thought. That was the swing. You could see he was out in front of that a little bit, but the barrel stays through that zone. And as hard hit as that ball is, you can see how quickly it got to Gardner in left.
So here's Brugman. Home run and a single to open up the bottom of the 4th. And the first pitch is just a little bit outside. And Tanaka does have 7 strikeouts. And has given up the 3 home runs. Certainly looks like the Yankees will be in the race the whole year as they have that 1-game lead in the East coming into today. It's a tight American League East. Anybody could win it. But nobody in that division is perfect. And obviously the Yankees scored plenty of runs. They have Betances and Chapman at the back end of the game, so that leaves the rotation, and they probably need somebody.
And you can have Betances and Chapman, but you got to figure out a way to get to
You got
him.
to get there, yeah.
And we all know as the season goes along, it gets more and more difficult.
One pitch is fouled back. We saw Montgomery on Thursday. It's like a decent young pitcher, but also young. Well, let's hope everybody's okay. That's Santiago Casilla, who was standing right on that railing. And it looks like he got hit by a foul ball. He is sitting down with his back up against that side of the dugout. Now he is just, God no. 1-2 pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. So Brugman strikes out for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th. Well, Casilla is standing up, but they're going to, I think, walk him back to the clubhouse, make sure he's okay.
Now batting the catcher.
Well, I saw him smirking, so kind of. So I think he's all right. It's probably just more, hey, let's go check it out wherever it got him. But he was standing there, I believe, next to Madsen, and some of the coaches are there, and then there's a camera there, and it's.
So 1 away. Here's Fegley. Fegley struck out, but then reached on the wild pitch. This is his first at bat. So getting back to that rotation, Mark, you start looking at who they have. Montgomery, young left-hander, but very young in the big leagues for the first time. Michael Pineda's had a good year. Sabathia has had a good year, but he's on the disabled list. Severino has got good stuff, but a very young pitcher. And Tanaka. So that's their starters right there.
Well, to me, it's a rotation of you really need things to go right. You know, with
some question marks.
Yeah, and you know, if the Yankees are in it, obviously they're not afraid to make moves, trade for guys. But then it all comes down to, okay, what do you have in your farm system? How much of that do you want to trade away?
Well, the Yankees are on such an upswing with how well they're playing, and of course their minor league system is in very good shape. Picked up some marquee prospects in the trades they made last year. Guys, they're pretty close to the big leagues, so they got to be thrilled with where they're at. But they may need a starter or two at some point. We'll see. Fegley swings and misses. So 9 strikeouts, and it's time to check back in with Angela.
Guys, in the clubhouse earlier, the vibe was quite chill. Listen to your heart. Roxette was playing, and some of the clubhouse staff, John Axford and Chris Davis, were working on a puzzle, a Salvador Dali puzzle to be exact, that was given to him from his friend Trevor Plouffe. To Chris, Bob Melvin mentioned that, you know, Trevor took on a leadership role in the clubhouse, and since he was just traded to Tampa Bay, from what I can tell, he definitely left an indelible mark on his teammates. Guys, back up to you.
Yeah, we miss Trevor Plouffe. He was a nice guy. He did something very classy, Mark, which, I mean, you sat on many charters in your day, but you found out that he was DFA'd. And on the charter flight home from Miami, he walked all the way down the aisle, all the way to the back where us guys are, who he knows us but doesn't know us as well as his teammates. The staff, and he shook everybody's hand. He said, "Hey, I got DFA. It's been great here," and I thought that was a very classy move by Trevor Plouffe. Certainly doesn't have to do that, but he just wanted to thank everybody.
That is really cool. I don't know if I've ever known of anyone who's done that. I mean, it's a unique situation when it happens, maybe when you're on the way back.
Well, a little bit, yeah, but
you
he didn't have to do that. He walked down, and he literally shook everybody's hand. So 1-1 the count to Matt Joyce. A's have taken the lead. Another home run by Healy. So 2-1 the count. Well, both bullpens obviously quiet. Tanaka's only thrown 66 pitches. But there has been nothing easy for either of these two starters.
No, and
Doesn't it feel like they've both thrown about 120 pitches?
I noticed it just a couple batters ago. I said, wow, Tanaka's only at like 59 at the time.
I would have guessed 90.
Yes, easily. I mean, every pitch is just pick, pick, pick. But it's worked for the most part. When he's made his mistakes, the A's have made him pay for it with 3 home runs. But what, 9 strikeouts? So he's gotten them to chase.
Joyce, hitters count at 3-1. And that one catches the outside corner, so a full count.
Well, that's another example right there of just he won't give in. He's not going to give in and give you a fastball. It's a backdoor slider, which is down and off the plate, but he hits his spot, he gets hits his location and gets the call.
So 3-2. Chapman is the runner at first. He will take off with 2 outs. And that one's hit hard into right field, a base hit. Chapman will round second. He will go to third. So the A's have first and third looking for some more. Joyce, a homer, a walk, and a single.
Well, fastball in. 92 miles an hour, one of the rare pitches over 90. He does pick his spots when he throws it. Joyce is all over it. You can see the shift. Joyce hits it hard enough. And Chapman, he should have been picking up Chip Hale. And right after this, you could see Chip kind of walk up to him and point out to right field like, hey, just pick me up if you don't see it, because that ball's hit behind him. So you can't be looking out. I get it. You're looking. Maybe you want to know where the second baseman. Maybe the second baseman got it.
Yeah, you want to.
You know,
check,
that's
you
where you
don't
got
have to check.
Exactly.
It's the third base coach's job.
If you look right at that third base coach, he's going to let you know whether that ball got through or not. That's the one difference with these shifts, because that ball's behind him. You know, Chapman can tell it gets past Carter at first, but he can't tell whether whether Torreyes can get it.
Yep.
And if Torreyes does make a diving stop and Chapman rounds second, he then gets stuck. He gets caught,
sure.
you know, in between. but that's where you got to pick up your third base coach, because he's going to let you know.
Salas swings and misses. Rosie has not had luck against Tanaka. He has struck out twice, both times swinging.
Well, Rosie, he needs to be patient here. He's kind of, in his first 2 at-bats, he's chased everything out of the zone. Make Tanaka come to you with a strike.
Allmine sets up inside. Quick throw to first. You know, it's funny, Tanaka, he just threw to first, right? And then when he got the ball back, he rubbed up the ball. Don't you usually rub up a new ball?
Usually, but I mean, some guys, it's more of a habit thing sometimes. You don't even realize you're doing it.
Rosales to right field, hustling over his Judge. He's not going to get it. It's going to drop for a hit. Chapman scores, and the A's lead 4-2. Well, Joyce was able to go all the way around to third.
Well, and Rosie, this time he gets a fastball inside. You can see he just fights it off. Not trying to chase something. Just goes with it. Hits it off his hands, but good spot to score the run.
Domingo Germán, right-hander, starts to throw for the Yankees out in their bullpen. 4 hits in the inning for the Athletics. It's a long meeting in the mound. So here's Lowry. 2 runs in here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, you hinted on it with the ball that got thrown back to Tanaka and him rubbing it up.
Just do it again.
He kind of becomes, when guys get on base, he becomes the human rain delay.
Yes, indeed. He's not the Lone Ranger there, Mark.
No, he's not.
Rain delays out there.
There's certain guys that just completely shut things down when guys get on base, and I never understood that, because when guys are on base, I always wanted to be the aggressor. You know, I wanted to go after them as opposed to start picking. I mean, Tanaka, that's the way he pitches, but when guys get on base, it becomes times 10.
0-1 to Lowry. Lowry has struck out and hit a fly ball to right field, and that's in the dirt. So you know how you played. You played college baseball, so you know the heckling in college baseball, which usually gets pretty intense, right? You don't see it in pro ball, but if Tanaka was pitching in college, the other dugout would just be screaming things at him. Challenge somebody. That would be
yeah, right.
That would be the first one they'd throw out there.
I mean, you can see him. He goes to rubbing up that ball. He rubs his wrist. He rubs his other wrist and both hands, and then goes to the ball. And I mean, it's after almost every single pitch.
One and 2 to Lowry. And now it's 2 and 2.
You know, on the other hand, maybe he's trying to make the hitter impatient.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he's trying to make them a little frustrated. Why are you taking so long? You know, and try to get them to swing at pitches out of the zone. But I mean, talk about just frustrating for his defense.
Marlins bounced right side. Torres on the backhand. His throw to first is high. Lowry safe, run scores. 5-2 the A's lead. Torres made a nice play. His throw was just high.
And Torres was playing short right field, playing there deep and shifted, and Lowry hits that ground ball right to second base. But Torres, he got rid of it as quick as he could, but pulls Carter off the bag. Lowry hustling all the way. And as you said, now 5-2 A's.
So here's Chris Davis. Runners at first and second, 2 away. Breaking ball is a little bit outside. So Lowry, it's a base hit and an RBI, his 24th RBI of the year. 5 hits in the inning for the A's. And that one a little bit off the plate. Pitches this inning for Tanaka, 34. 34. Time of inning, 20 minutes. Swing and a miss by Chris Davis, and now.
Can we divide that pitches per minute? I mean,
we're getting to that point. That one tapped foul. The pitches between inning for Tanaka, it goes the last, what, 5? 30, 28, 26, 24, 25.
It's ridiculous.
Seconds
and they
between pitches.
And you wonder why people talk about the games, you know, fans being a little frustrated at the pace of play. Well, MLB, here's your reason. Here's one of your reasons right here.
And he gets Davis swinging. So the inning comes to an end. It's a good one for the A's. They score 3 times. The first run coming on another home run from Ryan Healy. He now has 17 home runs on the year. 4 innings in the books, 5-2 A's. Tanaka, a very long bottom of the 4th inning. He threw 37 pitches in that inning. Yankees will have the top of their order: Gardner, Headley, and Judge. Gardner has hit a fly ball to right field, and he has a sacrifice fly. So Jesse Hahn, see what he does with some runs, as he now has a 3-run lead to work with.
Well, in a 20-some minute break in between pitches, because of how long that inning took, kind of want to get out there and get as many warm-up pitches in as you can after a long break.
2-0 the count. The pitch count for Jesse Hahn is very high, 88. So the bullpens are going to get work today.
And this isn't the start Jesse Hahn wanted. I know you've had that break, which makes coming out here, you get a little stiff when you're sitting there. You stand up, you move around, you try and do what you can do to stay loose. But it's always tough feeling comfortable out there with your body and your arm.
And a 4-pitch walk to open up the 5th inning. So that's 3 walks issued by Jesse Hahn so far in the game. He's got 5 strikeouts.
Now batting, number 12, Chase Headley.
Oh, here's Headley, who walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 2nd. Headley shows bunt and pulls the bat back. Red Sox and the Astros will play again tonight in Houston. That's a good series. Last night the Red Sox beat the Astros 2-1. Astros not playing great baseball right now. They've lost 7 out of their last 10. They still have a huge lead, and they still have the best record in the American League, so nothing to worry about. Just a little downturn for the Astros. It's the new pitching coach for the A's, Scott Emerson. Rick Porcello will pitch tonight in Houston for the Red Sox. Porcello 3-8 on the year after winning the Cy Young last year. Ricky Paulino will pitch for the Astros. Curve in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Royals and the Angels will play tonight. Royals won last night 3-1. How about that AL Central? The Royals are 3 out.
It's amazing how quickly things can
change. The White Sox are 6 games under. They're 5 out. But the Royals have won 6 in a row. And with the Indians, who everybody thought would run away with it, they're just kind of sputtering along.
Well, it was just, what, 3 weeks ago when, okay, when is KC going to blow this up?
Well, exactly.
You know, when are they going to trade Moustakas? When are they going to trade Hosmer?
That one rolled foul, and those standings we just showed you were updated because the Indians beat the Twins today 9-3 in Minnesota. So the Indians, for the 2nd day in a row, beat the Twins. So the Twins and the Indians now tied for 1st place. That's a good thing to have today, some lemonade. It is a hot day. Headley hits one high and foul down the left field line. Rangers leading the Mariners 5-1 in the 3rd inning in Arlington. The Rangers at it again. Rangers won last night 10-4. The Mariners were rolling along, and now they've slowed down a little bit. They're 33-36. Another foul ball to the screen. Well, we talked about it, Mark, on the road trip with the second wild card. And even though it's only June, the team that is the second wild card right now is the second place team in the Central, and they're only 3 games over 500. Stay close and you're in it.
That's what that second wild card does.
Yep. 2-2 the count. 97 pitches for Jesse Hahn. His bullpen is quiet. Another foul ball. So the battle goes on. Headley just keeps fouling balls off. So an 8-pitch at bat so far.
Well, this is where Bob Melvin needs Hahn to find a way to get some outs here, because he needs him to finish this inning. He really does, especially with much the bullpen has been used the last couple days.
Little pop up with the shift on. It could be trouble, and it's fouled by about 2 feet. See, Chapman was playing at the shortstop spot. He's the only one that had any kind of chance at it. Led off this inning with a walk. This one toward Davis and left, and Davis makes the catch. So that's the first out. Smart play of the day is brought to you by your California Ford dealers. This is Aaron Judge. He had a couple of home runs last weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We're going exit velocity. That's basically, hey, velocity of the ball leaving his bat going out of the ballpark. On Saturday, the exit velocity in his home run, the highest this year, 121 miles per hour. And then on Sunday, he hit the longest home run of the season at 495 feet. So they weren't even the same home run. So that's like the new thing now, exit velocity. It's basically how hard are you hitting the ball. Linden loves our Judge. Those two gentlemen have to be impressed with Aaron Judge. Good swing, fouls it straight back.
See, my only thing with the exit velocity is if you're hitting 3-something, okay, great. The exit velocity is cool if you're hitting the ball hard, but if you're hitting 150 and you're not getting hits, you can hit the ball as hard as you want.
Yeah. So those are the highest exit velocity and balls hit this year. And Judge and Stanton, no surprise there.
Yeah.
You know what's impressive about that, though, on that list? So you're thinking, well, exit velocity, it's going to be on a home run. I mean, obviously, no. Yeah. The second highest was on a single.
Yeah, but that's generally that line drive to the left fielder or center fielder where you square it up and you're running to first angry you didn't get it elevated.
Gee whiz. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Judge strikes out for the second time.
Well, Hahn went back to the breaking ball, and this is a good one. You can see the down action, the depth on that, and Judge out in front.
Number 14, Marlins.
That's the one. That's the one for Hahn. We've seen him today throw a bunch of them off the plate, and with his breaking ball isn't one of those. He has a good enough breaking ball that he can throw it in the zone and still get the swings and misses, like we just saw from Judge right there.
So that'll bring up Starlin Castro, who has struck out and grounded to short. And he bounces one right side, not hard hit. Lowry scoops, throws, side retired. When we come back, the lefty Darryl Knowles is going to join us in the booth. We're looking forward to that. 5-2 A's. couple innings ago, we talked to Gene Tennis, who obviously caught Jim Catfish Hunter, but we wanted to find out a guy who came in relief every once in a while. Daryl Knowles. Daryl, how are you? Thanks for stopping by.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys. It's great.
So we just checked on your resume, and we decided that you picked a good time to come to the A's. You get here in '71, you leave after '74. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, I kind of think it's probably all because of me, don't you think? Yeah.
No question.
You know, the funny thing about it, when I was with Washington, and I was kind of the stopper or the closer over there, and I was really kind of upset when it first started. I got traded, and I thought, dang, you know, I'm not going to be the horse anymore. But I was only over here about a couple of weeks, and I figured out this club has a chance to win. And
they did.
And they had that other guy with that funny mustache down there, so it worked fine.
Took your load off a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yonder Alonso leading things off as we're talking with Daryl Knowles. So great honor for Catfish Hunter today. I know you guys are very proud of him, and I know you miss him a lot. But
we do.
Quite a guy.
Actually, I had the opportunity to room with him for a couple of years, so we were pretty close. And he was such a great guy. It's such an honor.
So you probably know him better than most if you were his roommate for a couple of years.
Well, I don't know about being better than most, but I knew him pretty well. We spent a lot of time together on the road, you know, eating and maybe having an occasional cocktail. But we got to know each other, and I shared a lot of things with him. Got to talk to him about pitching, and he was just such a knowledgeable person, and it was very simple about the way he pitched, and but he had such great command of everything that he threw, and it was real learning experience, and I like to think I learned a lot from him.
Well, we had Gene Tennis up here, and that's what he said is what made him so effective was his command and the way his 3 different pitches, could throw all 3 pitches at any time.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, I asked him one time, how your stuff is not that great. How do you get people out that consistently? And his exact words were to me, I've got 3 pitches. I'm going to throw one of them on one of those corners, and if they hit it, they hit it. Yeah. And they usually didn't.
Well, maybe that was he wasn't scared. He wasn't worried about giving up a home run, and he gave up a few, right?
He gave up a lot of them, but they were always to lead off an inning with nobody on, something like that. He didn't give up any when they really counted very often.
What do you think of? I mean, I wanted to ask you this question. I was thinking about it for a guy who pitched out of the bullpen in the '70s. What do you think of how bullpens are used now, where there's 7, 8, sometimes 9 guys down there, and you see guys coming in 4 or 5 different pitching changes every game?
Yeah, you know, it's obviously a little bit different than in my era, if you will, and you know, of course, I was kind of a left-handed specialist, but I also had to pitch to right-handers a lot, so it was a little bit different. Nowadays, they have so many guys down there, and they're so conscious of how many pitches they throw and how many days they throw, and they give them so much time off, and happily, that never happened when I played. I mean, I felt like I had a chance to pitch in every ball game, and was up almost every night with the guys like Dick Williams, you know, being the manager, and I think I appreciated that. And I really think it's probably why Raleigh was so successful. He threw every day, but we had to kind of sometimes stop him from throwing too much. But he learned how to do it, and obviously went on to be a great pitcher as well. So,
well, everything's so specialized now. You know, there's certain guys who can only kind of face certain batters, you know, to where they don't even want them facing right-hand. Say a lefty. They don't even want them facing righties sometimes.
Well, you know what? There was usually a couple guys in the lineup I didn't want to face sometimes, but no, you're exactly right. And I know when you pitched, you didn't want to come out after so many pitches. I mean, it was just one of those things. But now it's a little bit different, and maybe it's because of the money. They try to protect the guys, get a little more longevity out of them.
But watch these highlights. I mean, you were 3-quarter, and that's a nasty at bat for a left-handed hitter. I mean, you had to know that you had a little advantage from where your arm slot was.
I think that was part of my success. Obviously, when I first started pitching, I was over the top and had to drop down a little bit to get people out. It seemed like it just stayed that way, but I had pretty good success against left-handers, and I'm sure it kept me around for a little bit longer.
Well, if you were pitching now, you pitch for 25 years. You come in, face one guy, and then you're done for the night.
That would be true. That would be true, yeah. That would have helped.
16 years in the big leagues, not too shabby.
No, I was very fortunate. I only had I think I was on the disabled list twice in all those years, and once from a sprained ankle, and once I started the season on the DL and got back healthy pretty quick. But I will say that, and I'm taking nothing away from the guys that play today. They're bigger, stronger, faster, make a heck of a lot more money, but it still didn't have anything to do with it. But back in those days when I played, if you had a little injury, you didn't even tell anybody, because I mean, I know you've heard that and it sounds like it's an old cliche, but it's very, very true. I mean, you didn't want to come out of there, and somebody might take your place. That's just the way it was. And not that we were any better. I don't think we threw as hard as they do nowadays. I mean, everybody now throws 95, and I don't think I ever threw over 90. But the hell, I hope I threw that hard.
But you also wonder too if that velocity is the thing that's causing more injuries.
Yeah.
Certainly, it seems like a lot of people feel that way.
Well, you know, that's a good point. I work now with the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm in the rehab part of it, and kind of, you know, I take care of them a little bit as far as all the on the field stuff. And that's a big concern about maybe because they throw too hard.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the 1973 World Series. 7 games, Darryl pitched in all 7. .com and the NBC Sports app, presented by your Northern California Honda dealers. 6th inning from the Coliseum with the A's leading the Yankees 5-2. We're enjoying our chat with former A's reliever Daryl Knowles. What we really wanted to get to was the 1973 World Series when the A's beat the Mets in 7 games, and Daryl pitched in all 7 games. How about that? You should be proud of that.
It's a great memory, great memory. You know, I was unavailable in the 72 series because I'd broken a thumb at the end of the season and was not available, as I say, but all I wanted to do was get in 1 game in 73. And
so you made up for it, right?
I made up for it, yeah, it was great.
So Gene Tennis says that, yeah, he did pitch in all 7 games, but he said it was because of me. And Gino said that he made an error, and that forced you to come into the game. Otherwise, you would have only pitched in 6.
That's true. That's true. It was. I don't think anybody even knew about it until the morning of the 7th game, and it was in the paper that if by chance I would get in the game, it would be the only time it's ever done. And with 2 out in the 9th, a little easy ground ball. Nothing against Gino, but a little easy ground ball, and he kind of got caught in between and then went through his legs and allowed for the tying run to come to the plate. And Dick Williams had enough confidence in me that twice he took Raleigh Fingers out in that series and brought me in.
Awesome.
I told him, I'm not too smart. I'm glad you got away with it both times.
Gregorius leading things off.
Was there any moment in any of those games that you remember more vivid than others? Like maybe a big strikeout, a big, you know, just.
Yeah, yes. In the 6th game, we were leading, and Rusty Staub, who was the hottest hitter in the series, and I was pitched in the 8th inning, and they were down a run, and I had I think a couple men on, and I obviously pitched to him because I was left-handed. And I wound up striking him out on 3. I always said 3 Nolan Ryan fastballs, but I never threw like that. But I happened to make 3 really good pitches and struck him out. And it was kind of the turning point, I think. And even Yogi Berra said he thought it was the biggest out of the series, and I know it was very big to me.
But that was quite a series, of course, with the Mike Andrews situation. And when you read stories about that, I mean, you guys deserve a lot of credit for not just winning, but getting through what was really a strange time, right? I mean, there was some strange stuff going on in that series.
There was some strange stuff going on all year, and it carried over in the series. And obviously the Mike Andrews thing was paramount then, but that's kind of what caused Dick Williams, I think, to just, you know, he told us he was going to resign at the end of the season, win, lose, or draw. And he played everything by the book. If there's a right-hander, he brought a right-hander in. If there's a left-hander, he brought me in usually. And Raleigh was still the workhorse in that series, but luckily I happened to have some success also. And it's probably the greatest thrill I ever got in baseball was that series.
Carter strikes out, so Liam Hendricks has back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the 6th. But Dick Williams told you guys that he was not going to come back. He told you that in the middle of the World Series, right?
He did. After the second game. And
so that was it. The Mike Andrews situation was it for
that was. I think he'd had enough of the Charlie Finley thing, and he just said, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to resign at the end of this World Series. And I'm very happy we won it.
2 away for Ronald Torreyes, who swings and misses. Well, pitching in every game in the World Series, that'll never happen again.
Well, you know, I have mixed emotions. I think it's been over 40 years since it happened, and since I did it, and it was 100 years before that. It had never been done, and selfishly, I'd probably like to think I hope it never happens again.
But okay. I think you're gonna be okay.
Well, I'm sure it's some, the old saying, records are made to be broken, and obviously they can't break it, but they can certainly tie it.
You need a couple rainouts in the World Series to have somebody tie that. But probably. See, the thing is they'll never break it.
That's
they'll
true.
Only just tie it, right?
No matter what they do, I guess I can always say I was the first to do it, even if they tie it.
But the chances are, even if it is tied, it would be a lefty reliever, most likely.
Yeah, that's right.
That would come in to face that one big left-handed bat in the World Series, where he's just facing one guy a night, maybe.
You would surely think so, because you're going to be losing some of those games too. If you
Well, Darryl, if we need you today, can you give us an inning? Or no, how about just a hitter?
I always say if they move that mound up about 15 feet, I can get somebody out.
Darryl, thanks for joining us. Have fun today, all right?
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Darryl Knowles has been our guest, and we'll be back.
Oakland wraps up on Father's Day. 15,000 fans will get a Marcus Semien starting lineup action figure presented by Ashby Lumber and Humboldt Redwood Company. Get tickets at athletics.com.
How about that? Downtown Oakland and a gorgeous day. And the A's trying to make it 3 in a row over the Yankees. And the Yankees are the team that has the second best record in the American League. So 5-2, bottom of the 6th. Herman came in the 5th inning. He had a good bottom of the 5th, 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. So he'll face Brugman, Fegley, and Joyce. So Tanaka goes just 4 innings. He did have the 10 strikeouts. Brugman struck out twice against Tanaka. This one's chopped over the mound. Brugman trying to beat it out, and he does. Base hit for Brugman. Torreyes, the second baseman, had a long ways to range to his right. Brugman beat it out.
And this one chops straight up the middle. You can see Brugman just kind of beats it into the ground. It hops over the pitcher's head. And right here you can see Gregorius. He's the only one who really had a chance. Torreyes didn't have a chance to get Brugman with his speed. If Gregorius can get to this ball, then he's able to throw him out. But by the time the second baseman gets that and throws it across his body, Torreyes, not enough time.
So that's hit number 9 for the A's. The Yankees have just 3. First pitch to Fegley is inside from Herman. Josh Smith starts to throw for the A's. Center fielder Mason Williams comes in. He eases over into right center to make the catch. So one away as Matt Joyce will come up. Kind of a strange day offensively for the A's. They've hit 3 home runs. They got 9 hits. They got 5 runs. But they've also struck out 12 times. I guess if you're going to strike out 12 times, that's okay if you're scoring runs.
Yeah, it's been a very odd game for the A's offensively. Like you said, I mean, you have 9 hits, and the way they're hitting the ball, you wouldn't think there'd be that many punch outs, but
Matt Joyce has had a very good ball game. A homer, a walk, and a single. He has scored a pair of runs. So Joyce average now at 220, so it's climbing. Headed in the right direction. In the dirt. Really have not had a real stellar starting pitcher performance in this series. Tanaka not sharp today. Jesse Hahn has gotten better, but he's done after 5 innings. Hendricks pitched the 6th. (3-0). So 3-0 to Matt Joyce. One called a strike. So now Joyce will be ready. 96 miles an hour from Domingo Herman.
I was just going to say that Herman, 4-pitch guy, fastball, curveball, slider, change. Threw one earlier at 98, and he went 3-0 on Joyce with 3 off-speed pitches.
doesn't make a lot of sense. And he walks Joyce, so 2 on 1 out. And let's check in with Angela.
Well, summer may be in full swing today, but yesterday morning was a little bit of Thanksgiving in June as the Athletics served meals at St. Vincent de Paul. 300 meals were served, including pumpkin pie, and Liam Hendricks was on hand, Adam Rosales, and Daniel Gossett as well. I spoke to Daniel Gossett about the experience, and he said it was an awesome event, and it was so great to give back to the community. He's participated in events in the minors, but doing it in an A's uniform, well, that was just something else for him. Guys, back up to you.
All right, good stuff. A's out in the community as always. So here's Adam Rosales. Big hit for Rosales in the 4th inning. RBI single, dropped him down the right field line after striking out the first 2 times. But we have seen, and I know Ray and I commented on it the first 2 games of the series, a lot of breaking balls.
Yeah.
A lot of sliders. And I mean, with Tanaka, not a slider, but an off-speed pitches. The Yankees, as a team, 2nd best ERA in the American League, so they're doing something right.
Well, it kind of goes back to what we've talked about, guy. I mean, Herman here, 96, 97, and kind of seems like he doesn't want to throw his fastball.
That's a good call. That one is lined toward Gardner left. Gardner's right there. He makes the catch. So Rosales hit it hard. And he'll hustle back to the dugout. 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th.
Now batting number 8, second baseman, Yan Lowry.
I think a lot of that has to do with, though, guys not wanting to throw their fastballs is, there's so many numbers out there now. And I think a lot of these numbers show, hey, this guy only hits, let's just say 160 off breaking balls. So what do the pitchers do? They think they have to throw those guys breaking balls. But the reason they hit 1-something off breaking balls is because of the fastball. And that's something you gotta wrap your head around, as opposed to letting numbers maybe affect you on the mound sometimes, and the decisions you make on what pitches to throw. I've said to people before, you can't pitch to a pitcher's weakness. You have to, or a hitter's weakness. You have to pitch to your strength, and it doesn't matter if it's that guy's strength. You got to believe in yourself and make those pitches and believe that your stuff is better than that, better than what that guy can do. And yeah, you're going to get beat at times, but if you trust your stuff, that's the thing as a pitcher, is getting over that hump and believing what you're throwing. And it's not always that easy to do, but once you start trusting your stuff, you're going to have a lot more success out there on the mound.
1-1 pitch is outside, and now it's 2-1. I guess you shouldn't try to trick them until you absolutely have to.
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And now it's 3-1.
Let's see, this is a good example. 1-1. Herman had Lowry 1-1. He goes for the changeup, gets it ball 2-1, then throws another changeup 2-1. Now 3-1.
Now it's 3-1.
And so yeah, you throw 96, and so what are you going to do? Throw another off-speed pitch here like you did to Joyce, and then walk him? You're putting yourself in a position now where you have to make a perfect off-speed pitch, or you got to throw a fastball right down the middle.
And he goes with a fastball and he misses. So interesting pitching by Domingo Germán, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Chris Davis.
The reality is, for Germán, you're making, and other pitchers who also do this, you're making it so much more difficult on yourself, because you now have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You have to throw that perfect off-speed pitch, or you have to make a perfect fastball pitch, in, out, whatever it might be, because Lowry's sitting fastball. And as we always say, when a big league hitter knows a fastball's coming, they're going to hit it. And it's tough sometimes for me anyway, sitting here to wrap my head around what guys sometimes try to do. I get it. It is not easy. But you're just making it so much more difficult on yourself, especially with the stuff that some of these guys have.
So the conversation's still going on the mound. Now it comes to an end. So a chance for the A's to kind of bust it open here, if you ever can really do that against this Yankees lineup. Brugman at third, Joyce at second, Lowry at first. Breaking ball that was a hanger, and Davis rolled it foul. So the count is 0-1. A little bit low. 1-1 the count. Davis today has struck out twice and had a pop up that Healy dropped, but then threw him out at first. That one hit hard, but just foul. Another hanger. And Herman turns around, walks back to the top of the mound.
Well, Herman crossed him up. You can see Romine.
Right.
He's looking fastball. And when somebody throws mid to high 90s, that's not comfortable back there for Romine. So that's why he's got to go out there. Didi's got to come out and interpret for him. Interpret. Jeez, what is going on? What did I just say? Are you kidding me?
You know what I'm going to blame it on?
This is a long game.
Pace of game is what I'm blaming it on. You have a legitimate excuse. It's called POG, pace of game.
I couldn't get it out.
I knew exactly what you were saying.
Thank you.
1-2 to Chris Davis, trying to knock in a pair. And he got him swinging. So Davis strikes out for the third time. He's 0 for 4, and the A's leave him loaded. 7th inning coming up. It's the A's with a 5-2 lead over the Yankees. Mobile. We're going to go to the minor leagues, see what's going on. Designated hitter Renato Nunez, he's having a big season. He's got 18 home runs. He's got 39 RBIs as he homered on Tuesday night. So another power hitter getting close to the big leagues. You think about him and Matt Olson and Chapman all down there in minor leagues. Of course, Chapman now in the big leagues. Keep an eye on B.J. Boyd, left-handed hitting outfielder, 293 average. He's a Texas League All-Star. And Last year's #1 draft pick, big left-hander A.J. Puck, was promoted to Double-A. He was striking guys out in the bushels for Stockton, so it was time for him to make the move up to Double-A. So, pretty good farm system for the Athletics, and guys moving up, and that's a good sign. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts, as Josh Smith comes in. Good inning for Liam Hendricks in the top of the 6th. Couple of strikeouts and a 3-up, 3-down inning. So Smith facing Mason Williams. Rolls it foul behind home plate. Smith pitched last night, just 2/3 of an inning. Did throw 21 pitches. He did not pitch on Thursday night. Williams today is 1 for 2. He has a single, and he has hit a fly ball to center field. He has scored a run. Rangers still leading the Mariners 5-1. That game now in the 5th inning. Just a couple of finals in the American League. I'll give you those in just a moment. The White Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-2 in Toronto. Pelfrey over Stroman. Indians beat the Twins 9-3. A couple of home runs for Jose Ramirez to go along with 4 RBIs. Twins scuffling a little bit. They have lost 5 out of their last 7. So the Twins, as we showed you earlier, Twins and Indians now tied for first place in the Central. Good pitch, just missed. So 3-2 the count.
Will Smith going with that backdoor breaking ball, and just didn't start it over the plate quite enough. You want to get that hitter to give up on that pitch and have it come back over the outer corner.
Lowry has it on to first. Williams is retired, 1 away. That's 7 consecutive Yankee hitters that have been retired.
Now batting, number 27, Austin Romine.
So here's Austin Romine, the 9th place hitter. Rays leading the Tigers 3-2 in Detroit. Tigers looking to make it 2 in a row over Tampa Bay. Rays have lost 3 in a row. Chapman to his left. Watch him show off that arm. Wow, that's a good arm.
Avoid the 4th of July headache with family-friendly fireworks a day early with the A's. The biggest and best fireworks show in Northern California, presented by MLB The Show, only on PlayStation. Will follow the A's White Sox game on July 3rd. Plus, you can enjoy this free fireworks show right on the field. For tickets, visit athletics.com/happy. That's athletics.com/happy.
Good fireworks last night. As always, the A's put on some pretty strong fireworks, and last night was no different. First pitch to Brett Gardner is a bit off the plate. In the National League, just one final. Rockies beat the Giants again. The Giants are in a complete and utter tailspin that's spinning out of control. Rockies, pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Rockies have the best record in the National League at 45-26. But everybody's like, yeah, you go to Coors Field, tough to play there. But the Rockies have been great on the road. They're 25-13 on the road. Great lineup, pretty good young starters, and a pretty good bullpen. So the Rockies are the real deal. I don't think there's any question about that. More action for Lowry, and that's a good inning for Smith. So 9 straight retired by the A's pitchers. 7th inning stretch coming up. 5-2 A's.
I have a funny story. When I was like 13 or 14, I was throwing bullpens with my dad, and he grew up in American Samoa, never knew what baseball was, and you know, here he is with his 13, 14-year-old son trying to, you know, catch a bullpen or whatever I was doing when I was 13 or 14. And he, in the summertime, his attire is jean shorts, a tank top, and flip-flops. And he just bought some catcher's like shin guards and was catching me in a seat. And I just spiked a fastball like right at his big toe, and like it like messed his whole like week up. And yeah, after that he decided not to catch me anymore. But it's just the person who is, you know, he always puts us ahead of himself, and you know, he's always there for us. So I can't thank him enough. Love him too.
And that is Sean Manaya's dad sitting right in the middle. That was Sean's Father's Day memories, brought to you by Wendy's. Of course, Father's Day is tomorrow, so we'll all enjoy that. 1-1 the count to Yonder Alonso, bottom of the 7th inning. Yeah, the dad usually takes some beatings when it comes to those. Let's go out and play catch.
No.
So you had brothers. So who was catching you? Because I mean, you're a little kid, right? You're pitching. You're like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, but my brothers were younger though. I had 2 younger brothers, so my dad would do it. He took a spray can. You tortured them, and yeah,
your dad caught you.
Yeah, my dad took a spray can and painted a mound on the sidewalk and a home plate, and he would catch me. And it was probably around that same age where he goes, "I'm done." You know, because all of a sudden one would get him in the palm.
Yeah, you throw a scud, and
yeah, and it, you know, or just it had a little movement to where he'd get it right in the palm of his hand, where he's like, I can't do this anymore, because it was at the time where I was starting to throw a little bit harder, and my dad wasn't exactly the greatest baseball player growing up, so
he made a good effort.
He did. That's all that's important, though.
That's right.
Now I try to give my son pitching advice, and he's 9, and he looks at me like I know nothing.
What do you know, Dad? Did you pitch, Dad?
Yeah, that's about what it looks like.
Alonso shoots one down the third base line. He's going to have a base hit. Yonder Alonso will take that. That's his first hit. Well, here's our true story, brought to you by McDonald's. May 17, 2016, the last time an A's player hit 3 home runs in a game, and it, of course, was Chris Davis. We remember that because the last one was a walk-off grand slam. How about that? And a Of course, we show you these wonderful highlights from last year because as Ryan Healy steps up, he's got 2 home runs. The jump shot. So Healy homered in the 2nd. He homered in the 4th. He struck out in the 5th. First pitch in for a strike to Healy. So Healy now with 17 home runs and 42 RBIs. Quite a season. He got called up in the 2nd half of last year, so he really has not even played a full year in the big leagues. His at-bats are the at-bats of a veteran.
Well, they just seem to be getting, ever since the day he got called up, it just seems like the at-bats are getting better and better each and every time.
No question. Has a chance to be special. That one foul back. So here are the home runs in the 2nd inning and the 4th inning.
Well, in the 2nd inning, he gets a kind of a hanging splitter a little bit. One that didn't have enough tumble, that was left up in the zone. Drives it out to left field. And that one, another elevated pitch. Very similar pitch. His 2nd one he got. He knew he got it too. He kind of put his head down, tipped the bill of his cap, and started his jog around the bases.
And he hits a line shot, skips past the shortstop Gregorius and goes into left center field. Alonso hustling around to 3rd, and the A's have 1st and 3rd, nobody out. I do not blame Didi Gregorius for not wanting to get in front of that one. If he did it, it would not have been pretty.
Well, we talk about, you mentioned, what, a couple innings ago, we talked about exit velocity.
That's true.
Well, here's an example. This one is smoked at Didi. And there's times as an infielder where you're going to sacrifice your body and get in front of it. There's times you are going to olay it.
That's not one of those times.
And that is what he chose to do. He chose the olay and wasn't able to pick it. And Alonso, with that ball right in front of him, easily able to get into 3rd base.
So Matt Chapman with a chance to knock in a run. Chapman's had a good ball game. He doubled in the 2nd. He singled and scored in the 4th, struck out in the 5th, so he's 2 for 3.
For Chapman here, you got to get something up, try and get it to the outfield.
Chapman 3 for 10 so far. He got a hanger and he rolled and fouled. So last weekend was a big weekend for Jacob Brugman. His call up, joined the team in St. Petersburg, played all 4 games in that series. And this weekend, same thing for Matt Chapman. He's doing it in front of the home crowd. I believe they're going to continue to play a lot. Why not? 1-2 pitch and hard, but foul. It goes all the way through and comes out the other end. Had a little putt-putt golf going. Swing and a miss. He stayed with that breaking ball, and Chapman just could not stay back.
MLB.TV, every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
So 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th, and here's Brugman. Brugman 1 for 3. 2 strikeouts and a single. runs off the plate. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Aroldis Chapman tomorrow. He's getting very close to being activated from the disabled list, and Yankees making it sound like he could be back tomorrow, and he's badly needed. Domingo Germán right now is doing his best to save the bullpen. He's thrown 54 pitches. He has not allowed a run. He's had a lot of base runners. And now it's 3-0. Don't think Healy's going anywhere.
There are times where a pitcher just doesn't feel comfortable, so you go, you know what, let's just throw over to first for a second.
And a 4-pitch walk to Bruckman, so the bases are loaded. So Germán has pitched 2 1/3 innings. He's got 4 strikeouts. He's walked 3 and given up 3 hits. So Fegley with a big opportunity. Alonso at third, Healy at second, and Brugman at first. And breaking ball stays high.
He must really believe in his off-speed stuff, because he continues to throw it even after the walks. He's gotten a couple strikeouts on him.
Fegley hits a high pop-up foul territory. Nobody's going to get it except the fan in the first row. Classy Yankee fan handing it over. That's the way to do it. There's some major negotiating going on. Nice. Two and one the count. If you're sitting in the sun today, and if you're still sitting in the sun today, you're hanging in there, because it's a warm day.
Or you better hope you have a whole lot of sunscreen.
Yeah, that's Mike Phillips, one of our terrific cameramen. He's very smart. He's under the hood. Judge over. Judge looks up, and it's into the seats. Braves fan in the house. So 2-2 to Fegley. Fegley hits it hard. Nice play by Headley out at second, and that's a double play. So Headley made a nice play ranging to his left, and the Yankees turned the double play to keep the A's off the board.
California is brought to you by the 2017 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By AAA, what does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica.
So 5-2 A's lead. It's the top of the 8th inning. The A's back to their bullpen, and they hit Ryan Madson when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and repair experts. 1-4 with a 2.84 ERA for Madson. He's facing the 2-3-4 hitters. Headley is 0 for 2 with a walk. So you always keep an eye on where Aaron Judge is when he's coming up. And you're glad when he's not the tying run.
That's exactly right.
That one bounced fair, and Alonso grabs it, steps in the bag, 1 away. 10 in a row retired by the A's pitching staff, and doing a nice job of keeping this 3-run lead right where it is. So here's Judge. Good way to face him. Nobody on base, 1 away. Judge is 3 for 10 in the series. He's got the 3-run homer. Today, a walk and a couple of strikeouts. What do you think watching him, Mark? And we've seen him enough now. He's got the good, powerful swing, obviously. But it looks to me like if you're going to pitch him and be successful, maybe you crowd him a little bit.
Absolutely.
And that's normal, right, for
any
a power hitter.
Yeah.
But especially a guy who's so tall. I mean, he's long. He's got long legs, long arms.
Yeah, you got to get in on him in order to then expand with breaking balls and get him to chase. You know, and Madson being the veteran, you first pitch fastball, breaking ball for strike 2. Now you can do a few different things. You can try to run something in, down and in under his hands, bounce a breaking ball away.
That's a good pitch. So here's the home runs he's hitting. That's interesting, and it's the pitch type, but also what we're talking about is location.
Yeah.
So that's a good pitch, and Madson makes quick work of Judge, who has now struck out 3 times.
Well, and the A's have pitched him tough, and Madson, Judge got caught looking for something different. Veteran Madson, you change speeds. He went fastball in, breaking ball away, down and away, and then a fastball. And Judge was probably looking, you know, he knows that changeup's in the back of the mind that Madson has in his back pocket and can go to it. He also just saw 2 good breaking balls.
First pitch to Castro. So he's probably, like you said, looking for something else, because if he was looking for that pitch, that's where he would want it.
Absolutely.
It's out over the plate a little bit.
Yeah, Madson missed location. He just froze him because he was looking for something else. Doesn't mean it's not a great pitch. It is. He just outsmarted him.
That one is looped into right field, and that's going to be a base hit for Castro. So Starlin Castro, it's his first hit today as he drops one into right field. Just the 4th hit for the Yankees. Comes with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th.
Well, this fastball's just up enough. And when I say up enough, it's in. Castro gets jammed, but because it's up just a little bit, he's able to fight it off. And when you do fight it off, you bloop it into the outfield as opposed to a weakly hit ground ball to second base.
First pitch to Didi Gregorius is hit down the left field line, hit well but foul. Home run distance for Didi Gregorius, but You could tell it was going to go foul. Gregorius is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and he has struck out. Fastball upstairs, and Gregorius moves around a little bit.
Well, this one just kind of spins his hat a little bit. Really wasn't in that far. He just missed location and missed up.
So 2-1 now to Gregorius. The A's are 29 and 38, so they still got a whole bunch of work to do. But the goal has always been just get yourself back to that 500 mark. And they would need a lengthy winning streak, but that's what your goal should be. And now 3-1. So sitting on a 17-game hitting streak is Gregorius. This one up the middle. Lowry's got it, throws quickly, and they got him. Jed Lowry makes that play extremely well, and he showed it there. So a 2-out hit, nothing else. Worth another look as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The A's hanging on to a 5-2 lead.
Is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
All right, game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 2-4-0 for the Yankees. For the A's, 5-11-1. Jesse Hahn's got a chance to get a win. He kind of weaved in and out of traffic. So in this game with 105 pitches in 5 innings. Matt Joyce with a home run. Ryan Healy with 2 home runs. So the A's 3 outs away from their 3rd straight win over the Yankees as Sean Doolittle starts to throw out in their bullpen. Casilla pitched in each of the first 2 games in this series, so Casilla probably not available today. So there's Doolittle. In the air toward right center. That's hit well, and that's going to be up the alley. Have a day, Matt Joyce, as he's going to head into second with a leadoff double. Joyce has been on base all 5 times today out of the leadoff spot.
Well, another good swing. This pitch is down. You can see the extension. Still able to drive it into the gap. Joyce, for the second time, starting off an inning in a big way after his homer to start off the game.
So that'll bring up Adam Rosales, who's 1 for 4. Tries to bunt, and he missed it. Actually, he fouled it back to the screen. Rosales with an RBI single in the 4th inning, picking up his 19th RBI of the year. Pulls the bat back. Mariners coming back in that game against the Rangers down in Arlington. It's now 6-4 Texas. It was 5-1. Seattle scored 3 in the 6th. Rosales bunts it in the air. Healy's going to grab it. So that'll be out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rosales now 1 for 5.
Now batting second baseman, number 8.
Well, this kind of confuses me a little bit. I know he's trying to sacrifice and move Joyce over to third, but I feel like the way Rosie hits, he could easily inside out something, just hit a ground ball the other way. That almost seems easier than trying to hit someone throwing a mid-90s fastball with a few different off-speed pitches and movement.
First pitch to Lowry, swing and a miss, 96 miles an hour. Single and a walk, 1 for 3 for Lowry. He's also got an RBI. Average sitting at 292. Four for 12 in the series. Joyce led off the inning with a double. So how about the pitch count for Domingo Germán out of the bullpen? 70. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
.31 balls, 39 strikes. You don't see a reliever. Whether he's a long man or not, throw that many pitches. Remember, with Aroldis Chapman more than likely coming off the disabled list tomorrow, Germán could be the guy. That would certainly make sense. He was just brought up recently. So if you're Joe Girardi, you can see exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he was a starter in AAA. He had a 4-3 record with their AAA team, so he can obviously throw enough pitches.
Yep.
But like you said, there's always that one guy when you know someone's coming off the DL. They always seem to get used that day before.
Right off the back foot. That hurts.
And it really hurts when the ball, when it doesn't ricochet, when it just hits and stops right there. That feels worse.
So 2-2 to Lowry as he steps back in. And he rips one foul right up over the bullpen. Good effort by the ball boy down there. He tried for the high backhander.
He did. He tried to get there.
doesn't mean that the relievers won't tell him that it's a ball he's got to catch. Nothing like the line drive backhand in between hop.
It's an easy play. He's got it.
It's a hard play for a big leaguer.
Yeah.
Ball boy.
Can't believe he didn't make that.
No chance. So 3-2 the count. Lowry go around? Yes, he did. As they check down to Chad Whitson. So Lowry is going to be the second out of the inning. Lowry isn't sure what's going on, but the home plate umpire, Lance Barksdale, he checked down to Whitson, and Whitson said you went around.
Well, this is another one of those. From that angle, it looks close.
Number 2, Chris Davis.
From that angle, it seemed like he went around, but it's still a tough one. The hit, you never feel like it goes as far as it really does.
See, then you look at that one and you're like,
yeah.
But I do think more often than not, that right there would be called a strike.
Yes, absolutely. Once those wrists kind of break and the bat head comes even close towards third base, it seems like they call that the majority of the time.
So it's up to Chris Davis to try to get, he's an insurance run. First pitch is bounce foul past Chip Hale down off the tarp. Doolittle is going to maybe have a chance for a save unless the A's tack on a run here. Chris Davis is 0 for 4. He has struck out 3 times. The Mick.
It's going home.
Yep. See, you say the Mick in New York. You say the Mick here in Oakland, it's Mickey Morabito, A's director of team travel. We got our own Mick. Davis swings and misses, and the count is 1-2. Davis trying to pick up an RBI. He's got 43 runs batted in on the year. It's a good looking jersey there. Can't go wrong with the Derek Jeter jersey. Davis swings and misses. He got him. So Chris Davis, tough day, 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Doolittle's going to come in and try to save it. He's leading 5-2.
turn back the clock to the early 2000s on Saturday, July 1st. The team will wear black jerseys from the era, and 15,000 fans will receive a dual bobblehead of Miguel Tejada and Barry Zito, presented by New Era Caps. For tickets to this game against the Braves, visit athletics.com/promotions.
So Chris Carter to lead it off in the top of the 9th inning. A's 3 outs away from another win over the Yankees. And Carter rips one foul. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. As Sean Doolittle comes in, he's got one save this year, his 12th appearance, and a 2.79 ERA. He'll face Carter, Torreyes, and Williams. Those are the 3 scheduled hitters. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Rajay Davis is in the game. He's in center field. Brugman slides over to left, and Chris Davis is out of the game. Pitch, and it's popped up. Doolittle coming right at Carter with good fastball. Got in a little bit on Carter. Chris Carter is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And he chased a high fastball, swing and a miss, and that's out number 1.
Time now for the Jeep drive of the game, or drives. Since Ryan Healy had 2 home runs, this is the first one on a split finger, and the second one, he was all over this one. 2 pretty swings, 2 home runs, and boy, is Ryan Healy on a nice little stretch right now for the Oakland A's.
Hit for Torreyes. He's also reached on an air and grounded out, and he lines another one to left field. Torreyes gets his second hit today. Make sure you stay tuned for A's post-game live, presented by State Farm. That'll come up right at the conclusion of our game. Mindy Bach, Jose Canseco, and Bip Roberts are standing by. Looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter for Mason Williams, and it's going to be Gary Sanchez. Sanchez a little banged up, slid hard into second base. It was on Thursday night. He was not in the lineup last night, but he's a dangerous hitter. One of the Yankees' best hitters.
Number 24, Gary Sanchez.
So here's Sanchez. Austin Romine is the on-deck hitter. After Romine, it would be the top of the order. First pitch is a strike to Sanchez. Off-speed pitch that Doolittle hits a strike call.
I'll say you don't see Doolittle go with the changeups very often. He usually sticks to that heater. Good way to get ahead right there.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez had a big rip. So this is where Sanchez got a little banged up. Lands real hard on, looks like his right hip. Now they said it's an abductor injury. If you watch the slide, he's a big guy. So that's what we've been told. Fastball is high. Final game of the series tomorrow with Jarrell Cotton facing Luis Sessa. Our coverage will start at noon tomorrow here on NBC Sports California. Will the A's be going for a sweep? Well, they're 1 out away from that possibility as Sanchez swings and misses. So high, hard one.
Just another elevated fastball. And we've seen it from Doolittle over and over. He throws up in the zone. You can see Phegley with the glove holding it up there, that throws it right where he wants it.
So here's Romine. The Yankees hitters have struck out 11 times today. A's hitters have struck out 16 times today. Fastball touch high. Romine is 1 for 3. Changeup, how about that?
Mixed in a few of these right there. I like that.
That's nice.
And it's slow enough. You know, he throws 95, 96, and all of a sudden you throw a little 84, 85 mile an hour changeup. It's going to have the hitters guessing a little bit. Plus, it's going to make your fastball look that much better.
Runner takes off. The pitch is a little bit outside, so Torres is going to get to second base. Defensive indifference, so now Phegley will head out. So the Yankees tomorrow, and then the Astros come in for a 4-game series. So the A's are in this homestand, seeing the 2 teams with the 2 best records in the American League, and so far so good on the homestand. Romine cannot hold up, and now the A's are 1 strike away from defeating the Yankees again. Crowd on a very warm day at the Coliseum. Some of them rise to their feet. Got him swinging. High, hard one, no chance. Romine strikes out, and Doolittle gives up 1 hit, strikes out 3 in the 9th. And the A's are victorious once again over the Yankees. Jesse Hahn gets his 3rd win. Doolittle gets his 2nd save. And time of game was 3 hours and 17 minutes. Attendance 31,418. 3rd straight win for the A's over the Yankees. Today it's a 5-2 final. A's post-game live presented by State Farm is set to go. Mindy, take it away.